we regret getting divorced? We get this question asked pretty often when we talk about our story with people. The short answer, yes and no.
We're both going to share our own perspective on why we do and why we don't regret getting divorced. I would say my biggest regret with us getting divorced would definitely have to be the impact that it had on my kids. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be on them. Me and Jay split custody 50-50, so we did a week on, a week off with the kids, and that was a big adjustment for them. And I think when we got divorced, I just thought what it was going to do to me and him. I did not realize how much it was going to hurt them and how much it was going to affect their life. It also definitely made me feel bad that I had always kind of taught them and encouraged them that, marriage is forever. And then I felt like I was letting them down and kind of going back on what I said, marriage was about. So that definitely, I would say, would be my biggest regret. The hardest part about it, besides losing Jay, but the hardest part about it would definitely be what happened with the kids and just, the adjustments that they had to go through. Probably took them the whole time we were divorced, which was 3.5 years, to finally adjust. And then it was like, oh wait, now we're getting back together. But yeah, it pretty much took them the whole divorce, I think. I don't think they ever really did quite adjust to it. So that would definitely be the hardest.
I hate living with regrets, but one of the biggest regrets I think I have about our divorce is time. And I kind of break that up into two different factors. I don't think we gave it enough time. Once we agreed that we were getting divorced, we started moving pretty quick, and it was a matter of like 3 or 4 months, and we were like done. Going back, I wish that I had put in a little more effort and a little more time figuring out what we were actually doing instead of both moving so fast. So that's one side of it. The other side of time is I lost 3.5-4 years with my best friend, and it's time that I can't go back and get. There was good times and bad times that I went throughout that course that we were divorced, that I didn't have Summer by my side to share those things with. Although we were going through a divorce, Summer was still my best friend for nearly 20 years, and losing someone like that is very, very hard to replace, because it's someone that knows everything about me. And not being able to lean on that person when I really needed to was tough, man. And I lost that time. So yeah, I think losing time was my biggest regret.
When me and Jay got married, I was a stay-at-home mom. I did not go get an education after high school. I didn't go to college or anything. And I wanted to raise a family. I wanted to have babies. So that's what I did for 15 years. So then when we got divorced, I had to figure out what I was going to do. I had never had a passion. I had never really thought about it. What was I going to do? How was I going to do this on my own? I was able to get that confidence that I hadn't had in the past, and I built my own company. I built my own business and started working for myself, something that I never in a million years would have ever thought that I could do. So if me and Jay had stayed married, I think that I would have continued to just stay at home. I continued to be a stay-at-home mom when my kids were already in school, and I was still just kind of sitting at home doing some of the motherly, housework and stuff like that. I didn't really see myself ever going anywhere or doing anything else with my life. Getting a divorce definitely gave me the confidence and independence to go out and figure out what I was going to do. I don't think that I ever would have pushed myself to do these things if we hadn't got divorced. And that's sad to say that, but I didn't have that motivation. I didn't have that need. So by us getting a divorce, it pushed me to become stronger and figure stuff out on my own. I didn't have, my partner anymore to lean on. So I had to do it on my own. I had to figure it out. And it definitely has changed who I am now in our marriage. I'm able to help support our family and feel like I'm contributing when before I didn't feel like that. So probably the only positive for me that I would say with the divorce was actually getting out and doing something instead of kind of just living off of Jay. Was able to do that on my own.
Coming up with something I don't regret. There's not many things that I don't regret, because divorce was not in my plans. It was not fun. It's nothing that I would want to go through again. But one of the positives that came out of it was the change that I made inside myself, just across the board. During and after our divorce, my mindset went through so many different roller coasters of sad, upset, depressed, anxiety. A lot of stuff takes over when your life changes like that. It started to really affect my mental health. It affected me as a father, as a friend, as a coworker, because your mind starts getting consumed with everything else that your spouse is doing or your ex-spouse is doing, and how your kids reacting. It's just a lot to think about. So I finally hit a point where I knew that I had to start paying attention to my mindset and my perspective on things around me. And when I made that decision, a lot of things in my life started changing for the better. I made it a point of mine to start shifting my focus away from things that I couldn't control and realize that I can only control myself and what I do. I can't control the people around me. I can't control what Summer's doing. Is she dating? How's her work? What are her finances like? What are the kids doing over there? How is she parenting them? I can't control those things. When I started making a conscious effort on what I can control, things started changing. It wasn't about Summer anymore. It was about me. And it was about how I handled the emotions that I was feeling. So what I started figuring out is high emotions lead to impulse reactions, if that makes sense. So here's the thing. Emotions are temporary. They're going to come and go. But sometimes your reactions, they can be permanent, man. They could be damaging. They're irreversible sometimes. So once I was able to start controlling my emotions and deciding how to deal with them and that I was in control of them at the end, I started changing how I reacted to things and how I let things not dictate how the rest of my day was going to be. And going through that in my divorce and after the divorce with Summer, I was able to bring that back to our marriage with us. And that made me a different person. It made me a different husband, made me a different father. So when we have a conflict now, I don't act off of emotion. I think about it, I calm down, we talk about it. Things are a lot different. So I think that was a huge benefit to bring back into our marriage. And I don't think that I would have made those changes if we hadn't gotten divorced.
Not that it was a good decision, but it was probably the best decision for us because it helped us to get to where we are today.
True, yeah. So overall, to sum it up, so we're not recommending it or not recommending it. You gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day.
I don't recommend it.
No, I mean traditionally I don't recommend it. But
it worked out for us, but I don't think that that's probably necessarily the case for most people. Try to work it out, but if you can't, hey.
But like we say in most of our videos when we talk about this side of ourselves, we're all different. We're not professionals. We can't write a book on this stuff by far. We're just sharing our own experiences with you guys and how we feel and how we view our past and future. But until our next video, we'll see you guys later.